guys, welcome to a new video by Reviews on Anything. My name is Peter and today we are in my car because we are having a look at another item from the Peak Design mobile ecosystem. And obviously being in the car, you've already guessed it, it is the car mount. Now, it's right here. This is all. It's a little plate on a little ball joint and with a little foot, little base that you stick to your dashboard. Now it's maybe hard to tell on camera, but the base is slightly curved, which is key because most dashboards aren't flat, so that gives you better adhesion. You can also tell that this is the very slim non-charging version. They also have a wireless charging version. Then it's a bit thicker because obviously you got to have some hardware underneath, and then there's a power plug right there. Obviously that only works if your phone has wireless charging, and that more importantly also only works when your phone has wireless charging built in and you have a case that supports it, because you can see I have a OnePlus 8 here in a case with the universal stick-on adapter. Now if you have all that on top of your phone, wireless charging might not work. So that is something to definitely take into account before you start deciding if you want the wireless charging version or not. Personally, I don't need wireless charging, and this phone doesn't have wireless charging, obviously. And you can also always just plug it in here with, plug going down. Now, the principle is very simple. You have the universal adapter. This is a car, so the movements are not very crazy, so you don't need the locking function that is with this small square in here. But you have this large surface here where you can just stick the phone on. And that is really all there is to it. So magnetically connects, and since the car doesn't move around too much, it doesn't need to be locking. So you just plop it on and that is it. It doesn't really matter if you put it in horizontal or vertical position. You can pretty much put it in any position. And that is really all there is to it. So obviously you have to position the mount in such a way that it works with your phone. Now luckily there is a lot of adjustability here in the mount itself. You can see that it can swivel and move around in as many directions as possible. But what I did is I put the mount on, tried for positioning and especially for length and clearance back there, just to make sure that it is in the right position. You can see I have it slightly angled towards me. I have the foot slightly angled towards me as well, just a little bit, but nothing crazy. And that is really all there is to it. So it doesn't really matter if you have navigation or some kind of route planner or whatever speed camera warning system on it. This is ideal. Obviously I have navigation in my car as well, but this is a 2015 car, as you can maybe tell by the smallness of the screen. So the navigation is from that era as well. Upgrading your navigation is very expensive. Navigation on your phone is usually always up to date. So this is a much cheaper solution than the 300 or 400 euros that it costs to update the navigation with the CD and all that nonsense. This is much easier, just works every time. Now this being a Peak Design product, they have actually done this properly, as you can expect. Doesn't really matter if it's their bag, their tripods, their phone cases or their mobile ecosystem, everything is done right. So this is not going anywhere. I've tried many mounts that would fall off after a while because either the adhesion wasn't good or the shape wasn't good. But this is strong, doesn't go anywhere. It feels solid. It is solid. It works with a solid magnet system here to make sure that it doesn't fall off even if you go over a speed bump. But like I said, you don't need the locking function that is working with this little square inside, for example, for a bike mount where you have lots more bumps and jolts. This is much more secure this way, since the car doesn't move around so much. And it's really all there is to it is that you plop it on and go. So the magnets are strong. It always centers right as you want it, and it always sits in the correct position. And even if you have multiple phones in your household and you have to sort of share the car, this works with any phone that has the mounting system. Like I have the stick-on version here, but they also have cases where it's built in already. Unfortunately, I don't have a phone that supports any of those cases. But for me, this is a great solution just to have it in my car. And as you can see, it sits nice and, well, I wouldn't say flush with the dashboard, but it doesn't obtrude at all, doesn't stick out at all. I actually considered putting it here as well, but then you always have to operate it left-handedly, which is not a huge issue, but I am right-handed. So that is a bit easier, especially when you're on the move. Personally, I only really use it for navigation. because I don't really need to interact with any messages or emails while I'm driving. And I think that's a bit nonsense, not to mention dangerous. So for navigation only, I use the phone, sometimes in this orientation, sometimes in that orientation, sometimes actually in conjunction with the navigation in my car, depending on what I want. And it's also, like I said, very handy, for example, for a speed camera warning system. I use that often as well. So overall, great product, really. I really like it. It's not cheap. You know, it is Peak Design, so it is expensive, but for that, like I said, you get a product that is done properly. So for me, definitely worth the money. And as you are watching the videos in this series of the Peak Design mobile ecosystem, you can see that I'm certainly invested in the mobile ecosystem, which makes sense, because otherwise why would I put this whole thing on the back of my phone? So for me, this is just another nice addition to the ecosystem, to the wallet that I have, to the bike mount that I have. It just makes sense. And this is, yeah, like I said, done right, making it super easy for me to just plop my phone on and off we go. Now, other than that, it is a phone mount, so, you know, there's not that much more to tell. If you have the wireless charging version, that's great. For me, that was not an option, to be honest, to begin with, but also not a necessity, because my phone can also just charge with a cable here in the car. No issues whatsoever. Nothing much to say, no real downsides. I think this is a product done well, and this is what a car mount really should be. That's all I got for you for now. Sorry for keeping my sunglasses on, but as you can see, the sun is shining brightly, and otherwise I'll be squinting into the camera. Thank you very much for watching. Definitely watch the other videos in this Peak Design mobile ecosystem series. They are certainly worth watching. They're short videos because they're focusing on one of the products at a time. Sub to the channel will always be appreciated, because that helps us out quite a lot. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!